Good morning, everyone. Let's learn some embarrassing mistakes today. I'm Jennifer Tarl here with Tarl Speech. This year, I have been in business for 20 years, thanks to all of you. And every day this year, I am posting a new lesson. Some are new, some are new to you. They are actually older lessons of shadowing practice. So you can do daily pronunciation practice with me. And what I've learned this year is that some people are surprised that I've been in business this long and they are unaware of all of my lessons here on YouTube. I've been posting lessons weekly on YouTube for about 15, 17 years, something like this. It's been a really long time. So today what we're going to do is we are going to take a look back at the most talked about embarrassing mistake lessons. Let me move my microphone here. It is in the way. Okay. So what we're going to do is just go through, talk about some of these embarrassing mistake lessons, and kind of bring these to your attention in case you want to go back and watch the full lesson. So let's jump in and talk about the top 20 embarrassing mistake lessons from Tarl Speech. So if you have any embarrassing mistakes that you have made over the years, please pop them into the chat and maybe I'll make a new lesson in the future, or maybe I already have one that you can reference. Okay, I see someone is here from Seoul, South Korea. Hi, welcome. All right. So, number 20 is a favorite of mine. This is a newer lesson, and it is the word city. And the mistake that some of my students make is they say shitty. So I made this as a favor to one of my students who is from Japan. And in Japanese, to the best of my knowledge, they do not have that s sound. Instead, it's sh or she. And so they just don't typically use that si that we hear in the word city. One other thing to keep in mind with this is I am using the flap T, and that I like to teach as a very fast D sound. And so I say city, 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 city. So I have someone here from the city of Seoul. And I see that I have another person here from Korea as well. It's kind of like a little party over there. Late at night, everyone is up for the class, so thanks for joining me. You want to avoid rounding your lips for this. So city, my lips are pulled back kind of in a smiling shape. This helps my tongue to get into the right position. It's also easier to think about what your lips are doing instead of what your tongue is doing some of the time when the tongue position is very, very similar. For the SH in shitty, your lips are rounding. So we're not going to round and say shh. You're going to pull those lips back and say city, 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 city. You can all give that a try. City. Okay, I loved living in the city of Chicago. I loved living in the city of Chicago. All right, let's move on to our next one. This is a really embarrassing one. And the words are can't or count. So we have two words here, can't and count. The key for this is that we are going to open the mouth wide for that ah. Think of opening in a wide circle for the ah. We are also going to open in a wide circle and move for the vowel in the word count. So we have can't and count. Can't and count. Now, the mistake that I hear is embarrassing in the US. If you are from the UK, this is not as embarrassing. The mistake that I hear, instead of people saying can't and count, is they say cunt. And in the US, that is not a nice thing to say. In fact, it is a slur. It is very unkind to say that to someone if you are saying that in a mean-spirited way. So, to fix this mistake, we are not going to keep that closed mouth for that sound. It's not going to be relaxed and open. It is going to be tenser and wider. Can't and count. Can't count. Can't count. Okay, give that a try. Can't count. Awesome. Okay, so I will post all of the links to these videos in the description after class. And also, I have a playlist on all of my embarrassing mistakes that you can practice in a playlist. I see some other people are joining me from Bolivia and Brazil. All right. So moving on to number 18, one of my earlier lessons, and the word is hassle. And that means it's just kind of a problem. It's a little bit of extra work. You have to do it, but you don't feel like it. And so, oops, I dropped my pen. Let me get a new one. Okay, so to fix this word, we are going to make sure that we say the H. Hassle. We have air coming out. The H in English, in American English, is very soft. Literally, my vocal tract is just relaxed, my mouth is open, and air is coming out. Then I'm going to add the hassle. 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 And this is different than saying asshole without the H. And that is when we are, again, being unkind and we are calling someone an asshole. We're not going to say that. We're going to add that H and say hassle. Hassle. The other difference in this word is that the ending, the syllable number 2, is sul. Sul, sul, with that schwa sound instead of rounded lips to say ul. Ul. So ul, hassle, hassle. Okay, that was a really, really good one. I see we have some questions in the chat. I'm going to get to questions at the end. I'm just going to go ahead and keep going with the top embarrassing mistakes. Okay, this one is really an embarrassing one. So the word, I can't even believe I'm saying all these swear words in my class, but we got to talk about it. The mistake here would be fucked. And that F word in English is one that I say, especially in professional situations, you try to avoid. People do use this with friends and in more casual situations. And a lot of times people will say it when they're very upset about something. So we want to avoid that as a mistake when you're not meaning to say that word. And instead, for this word, again, we have this open sound. American English really loves this open sound. You can see my mouth is open in a wide circle. And that allows the tip of my tongue to get low and the back of my tongue to be really, really high up. So I'm going to say fact and then add the T. Fact, fact, fact. It's different than saying the fa, fa, fa in the other word. So you can see the mistake is keeping your mouth too closed as opposed to opening your mouth more. So, fact, fact, fact. Okay. That was an easy one to fix. Okay. Now we have the word farther, farther, farther. Okay. I do see in the chat, don't be sorry. We're going to get to all these words at the end. Not a big deal. I love the questions. Okay, so for this one, this is kind of a funny mistake. So people say is farter. And to fart means to pass gas in English, which is when maybe you've had a lot to eat and you got some air coming out of your butt and it makes a noise. That's what a fart is, if you don't know that word. And so if you are a farter, that means that you probably fart a lot. So we do not want to say that. You want to say farther, like it's away from you. So make sure that you say the TH here. And the TH in American English, the air is really going to continue out of the mouth. To say this sound, I am going to make sure that I have a space between my front teeth and my tongue. You can see it's like a little cup there. That allows the air to keep moving out of the mouth. And that allows me to say the TH sound instead of the T or the D. So what happens is a lot of times people will have the tongue out of the mouth, but then by mistake, they are going to touch the teeth and say farther. So you can see, I can say a T with my tongue out of my mouth. It's just I've stopped that air. So make sure you have a little space there for that. There, farther, farther, farther. Okay. We've got fart again here and fat, that, and that. So the question here was more about the word that and how you avoid saying some of these other words, fat and fart. So let's talk about the word that. Super common word. So I don't think that, this is my opinion, you have to be perfect with the TH sound because in many dialects in the US, the TH is not pronounced all of the time. And so for many, many words, you can just, say a sound other than the TH. And if your context of your sentence is really strong, people are going to understand you. But if you want to sound more fluent and more native, getting a TH sound for that and this and these and those and all of those words that we use all of the time, I say that's a good goal to make sure that you can really say those sounds. So for the word that, what you are going to do, again, this gets back to that TH, make sure you have a little space between your teeth and the tongue. I have like a little cup. That. Now, another trick here is when you're moving from the TH to the vowel, think about opening your mouth that before you pull the tongue into the mouth. That is going to help you avoid touching the teeth with the tongue and then saying the T. Now, why do people say V or F instead of that TH? And that's because you are not sticking the tongue out of the mouth and I describe it as biting that bottom lip. It's not really biting. Your teeth are either touching the inside or the outside of that bottom lip. So you could be saying fat or that or fart instead of that. So again, for this one, it's that TH mistake, and you want to say that. Okay, this next one kind of cracks me up. So these words, it's kind of embarrassing to describe what they mean. So just check out the videos because I give definitions or descriptions for all of these words. So this is another mistake from a student from Japan. And this is, again, that SH versus S mistake. So a lot of my students, other than people who speak Japanese, make this mistake. That SH and S are really confusing to people. So the difference here is the S sound is pronounced with your lips pulled back. SH is pronounced with your lips more forward and rounded. Shh. Okay. One other thing. So many of my students from many, many language backgrounds, from Spanish, from Brazilian Portuguese, from many, many languages, everything, the spelling is the way that you pronounce the word. That's not necessarily the case in English. But in this case, that SH, when we have those two letters together, it's pretty consistently shh. So we're not saying s. So it's not an S plus an H. It's this new sound. Shh, shh, shh. We just don't have one letter or one symbol to denote that sound. So when you see the letters SH together, almost all of the time, we are going to say shh. So for this word, pushy, meaning that you are really assertive, versus pussy, which is, we could say pussy cat, but then we say some other things. We use that word for some other things. You want to make sure that when you're saying pushy, that you use that SH and you round those lips. Pushy, pushy, pushy. Okay. Everybody, this is one of my all-time favorite requests. This is actually from a very good friend of mine, a former student. She is originally from Taiwan, and the word is peanuts. And instead of saying peanuts, she mistakenly said penis. So if you're asking for peanuts and then you ask for penis instead, that is really super embarrassing and can be really misconstrued. So to say peanuts, what we're going to do is we are going to start with stressing the syllable P. Peanuts. Then we are going to make sure that at the end of syllable number 2, we add that T. Nuts. Nuts. So for that TS ending, that's really confusing for a lot of people. What I do is I say nut. I don't release the air for that T. I don't say nut. I say nut. So I touch unreleased T, and then I pull the tongue away for the S and keep the air moving. Nut, nut, nut. If you're afraid that you're going to make a mistake, you can say, can I have some peanuts? And really hit that T. That is totally fine, but I think it's easier to unrelease the T and then to say the S. So peanuts. I actually had a really hard time making that video. I had a lot of bloopers. This is way back in the day when I actually hired someone to make my videos for me because it was just cost prohibitive to make your own. And so I don't have the bloopers, but I would have loved to have the bloopers because that would have been really, really funny. Okay, moving on. We're already down to number 12. Okay, we have the word version. This is not too embarrassing, but it's still embarrassing. So this is like an IT word from back in the day that I worked with a man. He was in the IT industry, and he would say virgin instead. And he's not asking for which virgin, he's saying which version. So the mistake here is that we are having the zh sound versus the j sound. Zh is a voiced sh sound. So shh, we've been talking about a lot. You turn your voice box on, turn your throat on, and it's vibrating. Then we're going to get the zh sound. The difference between the zh and the j, like you hear in Jennifer, is that for that sound, it's almost the same, but we're going to touch the teeth, the skin between the teeth and the top of the mouth, right there, the alveolar ridge. You're going to start there and say j. So version, we do not touch the teeth. Virgin, we touch the teeth. So for version, the word that we're trying to say, make sure you do not touch the teeth. Okay? So this is the same mistake that I hear when people say age versus Asia. So they'll say Asia versus Asia. So they're touching the teeth. So for ja, don't touch the teeth. For J, touch the teeth. Okay. All right, let's see what is next. Number 11, soccer. This is an American word. I know everywhere else it's football, but in the US, football is just that American sport where we tackle and there's lots of, passing and kicking and running. This is soccer in America, which is football pretty much everywhere else in the world. Now, this is another case of the open ah. Really open your mouth. You're going to open your mouth in this case in a wide oval. Ah. So it's soccer, not sucker. Soccer, 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 soccer. Now, sucker isn't like a swear word or anything, but it would be embarrassing if you said sucker instead of soccer. So soccer, 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 soccer. That's an easy fix for that one. All right. Okay. Now, the word here is war. So war, W-A-R-E, and war, W-O-R-E, those are both homophones in English. So that means they are pronounced exactly the same way. War. Whore is pronounced with an H. So that is different. So this gets back to spelling. So I'm going to keep this slide up. W in English is pronounced as w. Let me show you my face. Woo, woo, woo. And my mouth is puckered. Okay, let's look at that slide again. WH right here in whore is pronounced with an H. We also see this pronunciation in the word who, W-H-O. But when we have the WH, we typically pronounce it as a W, and we would say what, when, where, why. So that WH combination most of the time is pronounced as a W sound, ooh. But when we have the WH, in this case, the exception, we are going to pronounce it as an H sound. So the mistake here is that W is confusing for a lot of my students. My students will say a V sometimes instead of the W. Or sometimes people will say an H. So to fix this, just think about, ooh, your lips are rounded, tongue is just flat in the middle of your mouth, and the air keeps going out. Ooh, your voice box is on and moving. So we have war and war. Okay. This is probably going to have to be a little bit of a vocabulary lesson. So this word is third. Everyone knows third. The mistake that I hear is people say turd. And what is turd? A turd is a piece of poop. Yes, that is a turd. Young boys especially like that word and they think it's funny and they'll call people that. So we want to say third instead. So for this word, again, it's that TH, you know the drill, stick the tongue out, space between the teeth and the tongue so the air can keep moving out. Third, 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 third. Okay. It's a good one to avoid. Again, you probably say this a lot. So this is a good one to memorize in the TH department and make sure that you can say that word. Okay. Getting into number 8. This is probably the mistake that most of my students make. So I'm going to say to all of you, pay attention to this one because it is super important. And almost all of my students have pronounced this incorrectly at one time or another, and that is because of syllable stress. So this word is focus, and I am stressing syllable number 1. Focus, 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 focus. The mistake that I hear is people say fuckus all the time. So a couple of things here. We are going to say that long O. Open the mouth and move to a pucker. O, O, O. Move that mouth. Because if you don't move the mouth, you say and that's how you get the fuckus. So focus, 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 focus. Okay, you got it. All right. Very good. That is definitely one to avoid. Let's all practice that. So everyone say it. Focus. Let's focus on the lesson. Focus far away from you to exercise your eyes if you work on the computer a lot. And I need to wear glasses because my eyes don't focus on anything anymore, far away or close up. I cannot focus. Okay. Excellent. All right. Let's see what's next. Fork. Okay, another one. You all, I can't believe I'm saying this word so many times. The mistake that I hear is people say, give me a fuck, instead of give me a fork. Forgive me for saying all these things. So for fork, we need that or sound. And you are going to round the lips for the or, and then pull back the lips for that R sound. So the O and the smoosh together to make this or sound. Okay, I see someone has a question about the word Ford. This is kind of answering your question about that as well. We are having this or vowel here. So fork. And then we're pulling back, and then we're going to end with that K. Fork, fork, fork. Okay, everyone try this one. I want a fork to eat with. Okay, great job using the word fork. And for all of these, take your time. Make sure that if you have a word that is really difficult to say, that you just take a second, you maybe pause before it, and then you say the word. Everyone has a word that is really difficult to say. For me, it is steel mill. I want to say still mill, which is like it's not moving. That's not the word. It is a steel mill. So for whatever reason, that word is so hard for me to say, and I mess it up almost every time. So I pause before I say it, and then I slowly say the word. So if you have one of these embarrassing mistakes that you make, use that strategy. Stop, pause, say the word, and then keep going. Okay. Moving on, we are on to number 6. This is a great one. This is actually a super common one that a lot of people will say to me, you know what? I just don't even say these words. Let's not avoid words. Let's learn to say all of the words. All right, so the words here are sheet, like a sheet of paper, versus seat, that you're sitting on a seat. And when you sit on a seat, those words are different. So the mistakes here are SH versus S and E versus I. So the big word that everyone's trying to avoid here is shit. And shit is poop. Again, lots of poop words today. So to say sheet, we are going to round the lips. Sheet. And then smile for that E and the T. Make the vowel longer. You want a sheet of paper. Please hand me a sheet of paper. Can you give me the sheet to put onto the bed? Okay. Sheet, sheet, sheet. That is very different than shit with the short I. So if you mess up the SH and the S and the E and the I, then you need to do E long and tense for sheet versus sit. My mouth is more relaxed for that short I sound. So seat, sit, seat, sit. Really, the only thing I'm doing for that vowel is I'm relaxing my cheeks, tense for E, relaxed for I. And when I relax my cheeks, my tongue pops down and my vowel sounds shorter because it's more of a relaxed sound. All right, number 5, beach. This is one of my first videos that I ever made. And this is a super common mistake. People will say, I'm going to the seashore. I'm going to the ocean, because they don't want to say beach. Let's not avoid that word. To say this, long, tense E. Beach. Really smile. You love the beach. Make that word really long because it's so great to be there. The beach. If you don't say it long enough, it sounds like bitch. And that is something that is unkind to call a woman. And so beach. And then you can say that word. Along these same lines, whoops, sorry, next one. Nope, I was wrong. We have teeth. For teeth, if you don't say this correctly, and if you avoid saying that long E and you say the short I, and you don't say that TH and you say it, you say the word tit, which is a slang word for the breast. We want to avoid them. So if you're going to your dentist, you want to talk about your teeth. You don't want to talk about lady parts. So to say teeth, long E, smile, teeth, then stick that tongue out and make that sound long. Hold that TH, let that air keep coming out of the mouth. Don't close the mouth so that the air can't come out. Teeth, 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 teeth. Okay, everyone give that one a try. So when you go to the dentist, you're talking about the right thing, your teeth. Okay, down to number 3, sheet. We are really practicing the long E sound here to close this out. Now, okay, again, you're going to say shit if you make a mistake here, and that is poop. We want to avoid all the poop words and instead say the word sheet. And to do that, long E, make that vowel super duper long. E, so sheet, sheet, sheet. Kind of already talked about that one, so let's move on to the next one. 6. Okay, this is a tough one. So this word is 6, 6, 6. You can see my mouth is more closed for this. 6. So my mouth is a little more closed and my tongue is just behind my top teeth for this vowel. 6, 6, 6. The mistake that I hear is people say sex. Now, you are probably asking for 6 of something, so avoid that mistake. And for sex, my mouth is more open and my tongue is just between my top and my bottom teeth. So if you make that mistake, close your mouth a little bit more and bring the tongue up slightly. 6, 6, 6, 6. All right. And number 1. This has been, I think, number 1 because of that lovely teacher on the internet who had a lesson and she basically said cock instead of Coke. And she probably said that 30 times and she just kept saying, give me a cock, which watch the video if you want to know what that means. It's not very nice to ask for that, especially if you're a lady. So to say the word Coke, you need to move your mouth for the O. It doesn't just stay open. It's not ah, it's O. We move to a pucker. Young adolescent boys find this video. I don't know how it's served up to them, and they just think it is hilarious. So the word here is Coke, Coke, Coke. I am asking for a Coke Zero, which is a great drink, I think, and not a cock. So Coke, Coke, Coke. Okay. Yes, the Korean teacher. I just have to say that lady is out there teaching. She's doing a great job. So I say, if you know her, send her my video just so she knows how to pronounce that word because she is doing a great service for everyone. She has these free classes on the internet. So love her. All the best to her. Okay. So let's get into some questions here. That is the end. Okay, I see that some of you thought this was very funny, and so do I. These mistakes are absolutely hilarious, and some of them are just, they're tough to teach, but I've gotten really good at it over the years. I think that I cannot not laugh. And yes, these words can really get you into a strange situation that you are not expecting. Okay, I can't believe I'm going to say this. The way you spell turd is T-U-R-D. Yeah, this is part of my lesson. I never in a million years thought that I would be teaching that, but here we are. So it is not T-Y, it is T-U-R-D. All right. So if you were listening to this on Facebook, welcome. I forgot to say hi to you over there. I'm also here on YouTube if you're listening to this as a podcast, or if you want to listen to it again on the go. I do post this to all podcast platforms. I'll probably do that tomorrow for you all if you want to listen to the replay. I love it. YouTube also has a podcast feature now. You can listen to them on your phone by downloading YouTube Music, that app, and then you can listen to the podcasts. on the go. Okay. All right. Yeah, she was a Korean teacher. What did I say? I can't remember. I'm sorry if I said she was from the wrong place, but she was great. Okay. All right. Let's just quickly, before we sign off, a few words. Endlessly. Endlessly. So I say N, and then I have a slight D. It's unreleased. Endlessly. Endlessly. So my N, D, and L are all in the same place. It's all in that alveolar ridge. So this gets confusing for a lot of people. So N, say it like the letter N. Endlessly. 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 And then I say lessly. So I'm going to put this in the chat. If you think of endlessly, that is going to help you out. So endlessly. If you need to think of it a different way, you can also think of endlessly, and that is fine too. Okay. All righty. Let's see what else I'm missing here. Okay, in Russia, it looks like you say it the same way, which is good, I guess. So then you won't make the mistake. Okay, rural. I do have a lesson on YouTube for that. My husband is helping today. So Rob, if you can put the link to rural in the chat, that would be helpful. And I always say for rural, if this is really, really hard, you can just say, I'm from the country, and people will understand what you are saying. Okay. I am so glad that someone had like a breakthrough moment. Excellent. Excellent. This is live, everyone. So hope everyone is having a great day. Okay. The word comedy. Open ah. Comedy. 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 So I'm going to say comedy. Comedy. Or you can think of it as calm and then the schwa D. Comedy. Comedy. Either is fine. It kind of depends on how you think of words. Okay. All right. I think that is it. Okay, this is so funny. Let's say, I know, I have to just keep on saying it sometimes. It's just funny. Okay, everybody, let's see. I don't even know what that is. Okay, sorry, Dunder. I don't know what your word is there. Okay. All right, everybody. Any more questions before we go? No? Okay. Oh, daughter. I forgot about that one. Okay. So to say the word daughter, it's going to be an open ah. And think about saying daughter, 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 daughter. You can actually just say one. I said it, wrote it with two D's. It's just one D. Daughter, 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 daughter. That's because we use that flat T. Okay. I also have a video on daughter, doubter, and dollar. So you can check that out as well. And then comedian, 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 comedian. Okay. So anything else before we go? I'm going to look for the daughter link to put in for you all. All right. If you are looking for more help, you can check out all of my books. They are pronunciation guides, and they are available on Google Play, iTunes, and Teachers Pay Teachers. And you don't have to be a teacher to go on to that site. I actually have some freebies there as well. I just realized too that I have a video for, this is lots of words. It is dough, doubter, and daughter. I'm going to post this one as well. Okay. So there you go for that. And let's see. Oh, no disturbing at all. I'm so happy to help. And then I had another video. Oh, rural that you all wanted. Let me find that one. I'm thinking my board can't find that one. So let's look up rural. Okay. And this has been a popular one. So let me share rural with you. While I'm sharing this as well, please tell all of your friends about me over here at Charles Speech. That's how I continue to grow and continue to offer you free lessons. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Check today. I have a new lesson on the short A sound, and that is for my year-long pronunciation challenge where I am posting a lesson on Wednesday, and then for the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm posting follow along shadowing practice. If you like those, they are available in book form on iTunes only. I can only post the videos on iTunes, but my pronunciation guides on iTunes and Google Play and Teachers Play Teachers, they're all pretty much the same. They just don't have the video. They have the audio guides. So make sure you're buying the correct one if you're looking for those. And again, thank you for being here. I do have some paid courses. You can check out my website, charlesspeech.com, for details. I don't have any like replay classes or anything like that. I'm trying to get some of those together. And also, if you are interested in hosting me in your country, if you have a school, please reach out. I would love to schedule something with you for next summer 2026. I teach live lessons. I've taught in Japan and in China, and I would love to teach where you are as well. I'm wondering, does this mean 감사합니다? Does that mean thank you, maybe? I'm not quite sure. If someone can translate that, that would be great. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Have an amazing day.